chapter 2, verse 1. The heavens, the earth, and all their vast array were finished. Verse 2, on the seventh day God finished his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Verse 3, God blessed the seventh day, and he made it holy, because he rested in it from all of the work of his creation which he had done. Verse 4, this is the history of the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. In that day, Yahweh God made the earth and the heavens. Verse 5, no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, for Yahweh God had not caused it to rain on the earth. There was not a man to till the ground. Verse 6, but a mist went up from the earth and watered it. This is important. We're going to continue on. The whole surface of the ground had a mist that came up from it. This is important. Okay. We'll come back to that later. Verse 7, Yahweh God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Verse 8, Yahweh God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Verse 9, out of the ground Yahweh God made every tree to grow that was pleasant to the sight and good for food, including the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Verse 10, a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it was parted, and it became the source of 4 rivers. Verse 11, the name of the first is Pishon. Siphon? Pishon? It flows through the whole land of Havilah. There is gold there. Verse 12, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stone are also there. Verse 13, the name of the second river is Gihon. It is the same river that flows through the whole land of Cush. Verse 14, the name of the third river is Hiddekel. This is the one which flows in front of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Verse 15, Yahweh God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate and keep it. Verse 16, Yahweh God commanded the man, saying, you may freely eat of every tree of the garden. Verse 17, but you shall not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For in the day that you eat of it, you will surely die. Verse 18, Yahweh God said, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. Verse 19, out of the ground Yahweh God formed every animal of the field and every bird of the sky and brought them to him to see what he would call them. Whatever the man called every living creature became its name. Verse 20, the man gave names to all livestock and to the birds of the sky and every animal of the field, but for man there was nothing suitable for him. This is important because imagine you see all these animals and everything, and here's the man. He said, but for the man there was not found a helper comparable to him. Verse 21, Yahweh God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, As the man slept, he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. Verse 22, Yahweh God made a woman from the rib which he had taken from the man and brought her to the man. Verse 23, the man said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman because she was taken out of man. Verse 24, therefore a man will leave his father and his mother and will join with his wife, and they will be one flesh. Verse 25, the man and his wife were both naked, and they were not ashamed.